ladies, this is a program called National School Choice Week. And it's from January 21st to February 1st. And it's talking about having the right to choose the schools that you would like your kids to go to. The reason this program interests me is because here in Buffalo, New York, I see a lot of children that are struggling. I mean, they are struggling to learn. And the teachers are worn out, and the teacher aides aren't doing too much better. And these kids aren't learning. These kids, all these kids, younger and older, from 2 and 3 and 4, or should I say from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and on and up and up and up and up. Some children are learning because their parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and godparents and neighbors and people that love them are working with them. But it's a lot of kids that what we would say lost in the sauce. They are struggling. They can play these video games, but they can't count. They don't know their alphabets. If you don't know your alphabet, you can't put your words together. If you can't put your words together, you clearly can't form a sentence. These kids is really in a bad place. And we as parents and grandparents and godparents and neighbors, every kid needs somebody. Like they say, it takes a village to raise one kid. And just think about it. It's all these kids. I mean, it's kids in the world. And so many of them are failing. And so many of them are struggling. It really, really bothers me to see so many kids that are struggling. It really bothers me to see so many parents that don't have a clue on how to teach these kids to make it easier for them so when they start school or they're going to school, they are getting good grades. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to take sending kids to public school. I don't know if it's going to take sending kids to private school. I don't know if it's going to take sending these kids to charter school. I know that parents need to come together and start going to these PTA meetings so they can have some one-on-one time with these teachers and tell these teachers what their children need. I don't know if it's the teacher is worn out or just feels like, well, the parents aren't involved. They're not coming to the school on a regular basis. And I get it. Who want to come to the school and sit in that school? Because I can't do it because the chairs and the tables are so low and my poor knees and all that. And then me, if I go to the school to help kids, I would be helping the kids that really want to learn. And I'm not saying there's kids that don't really want to learn, but from talking to many kids, they say it's not fun. So since it's not fun, they're not trying. And I don't want to see any kid left behind. Because although the politicians will try to say, oh, it's jobs out here and it's this and it's that and it's getting easier. No, baby, it's getting tougher. I'm old school. I was born in the 60s. So being when I was born in the 60s, most people in my grades, and I can't say age because I skipped a grade. I skipped kindergarten. I went from early push to first grade on the stipulation as long as I could keep up. I ain't had no choice but to keep up because my parents was woo-wee, but they believed in education. And that was fine because it was easy to me. But I see so many kids that struggle. They barely can do addition and subtraction. And yet, here in the second and third grades, they're introducing multiplication and division. If you can't do addition, and subtraction, how do they expect these kids to do multiplication, division, and fractions? And then when I was growing up, well, my mother was my tutor. That's all to it. The parents was really involved, and they put a lot of time into these kids. These young adults, they something else. They'll put all the time they can into their man or their husband or their lover or their fiance. But when it come down to these kids, they got every excuse in the world for not helping these kids. And it might be because they don't understand. I used to go to school when my son was going to school. And although I knew how to get the answer or whatever, when it was PTA time, I asked the teacher, could you show me how you doing this problem so I can make sure my son could be on point? Because I wanted my son to have A's. And he did. But it's all right to ask for help. Then they have like these boys and girls clubs. When I was taking my son, it wasn't that expensive. But then again, my income wasn't that great. But if you ain't getting social services, it's hard to get these programs to give you scholarships. And if you ain't got a mate that's working along with you to make sure that kid can get in the after school program that's going to help them, or you don't like the school or whatever, or they don't have a good after school program. And nowadays you can't even find tutors for these kids. Everybody want money, 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 money. I get it. People want money for their time. But in the same instance, we can't be leaving any kids behind. Whether it's your kids, my kids, Susie's kids, Bob's kids, whoever. All kids deserve to have the right to have a good education. If that meant we as parents going to the PTA means that we see that the kids aren't getting this good education, we should all plan to meet on City Hall's steps and go see the different politicians and demand that these kids get the education that they need. So when I saw what this was about, I wanted to express it to you all on my channel, because just like it bothers me, I know any person that has kids in school and they see that their kids aren't learning up to par, they're worried, they're upset, and you should be. When it was time for me to graduate, I graduated early. I graduated at 17, excuse me. And then I went on to Bryan and Stratton. Okay, I stayed there a year. I went on to ECC City or whatever. And come to find out, ECC City was teaching 2 years behind. We had business schools then in the whole nine. But here in Buffalo, New York, we got Bryan and Stratton. And we got the colleges like ECC City and South and North, which is a 2-year college. It's a junior college. And then we have Buff State and UB here in Western New York. We got Trocaire and Medill and Medaille. But if you don't get in, and Damon, and Duville, if you don't get into one of them schools, you're going to be out, I don't want to say the word, but you're going to be messed up. So this is why I ordered this little program. So I'm going to read it to you. I know it's going to be kind of long, and I really don't want to do that, but I'm going to read it to you anyhow. Greetings. We are excited to send you this free gift of National School Choice Week supplies. This box includes yellow fleece scarves, signs, and more. You can use these free supplies any way that you want. By participating in National School Choice Week, You are playing an important role in helping to raise awareness of the education options available to children and families, while highlighting the importance of providing children with access to education environments that inspire. With millions of participants across the country, NSCW shines a positive spotlight on traditional public schools, public charter schools, public magnet schools, private schools, online academies, and homeschooling. NSCW is a time to organize the dedication of students, parents, teachers, school staff, community leaders, and supporters who help make educational opportunity a reality. And it is time for parents to evaluate and consider the best education options for their children for the upcoming school year. Regardless of how you choose to celebrate National School Week, we hope you will. Wear your NSCW yellow fleece scarf and email photos to photos@schoolchoiceweek.com so that we can promote your participation. If you'd like to upload photos or videos, visit www.schoolchoiceweek.com/share. Spread the word on social media by posting about hashtag school choice on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then, of course, thank you. And then maybe their parents really don't know how to shop. So the food stamps only last maybe about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. And then they too proud to go somewhere like a food pantry and get some food. But you got to do what you got to do because then nobody asks nobody to lay down and have some kids if you're not going to take care of them properly. And as a parent, as a neighbor, as a friend, as an aunt, as a godmother, as a godfather, as an uncle, as an aunt, as a mother, as a father, as a grandmother, as a grandfather, as a teacher, as a principal, we all need to work together to make these environments good, wholesome environments for kids to learn, to want to learn, to be excited about learning. Because if you don't give them that encouragement to be excited about learning, they will not put in that effort. So they want to know, how should you use your supplies? You can use them however you want. I personally, I'm going to give it out to kids that I see that are worse off than mine. You know, a lot of people don't believe in giving kids hats and scarves and stuff. And it might not say what you want it to say. But it's good to cover your neck up because cold gets in your neck. It's good to put a hat on your head. You know, it's a lot of kids in my neighborhood that I see that come out with no hats, no scarves, no gloves. And here in Buffalo, New York, we've been up and down and up and down and up and down with the weather, which makes it pneumonia weather. Some days it'll be in the 50s. Some days it'll be in the 30s. Some days it'll be 32, which is freezing point. Some days it's lower than that, in the 20s. You know, we had a little snow in November that shut the city down for a hot minute. Then we had a little snow in December that really didn't shut the city down, but it was kind of nasty. Now here it is January. We done had some light snow. But I know that the snow is coming. Because usually here in Buffalo, I don't know how many times I didn't live through a black winter. That means when it's freezing cold, but it ain't no snow. It's coming. Believe you, my body tells me it's coming. You know, but I want to help children as much as possible. I don't want to be stuck with children, but I want to help children as much as possible. Because, hey, if you don't reach, if you don't reach out here and help these kids that you see struggling, they'll be falling in the wayside. We got to motivate these kids when they're younger. Because some of them go through trials and tribulations at home. And then that makes it really bad for the kids. You know what I mean? Sometimes their parents are in and out of jail. Sometimes their parents are drug addicts. Sometimes their parents are lazy and trifling. You know, so sometimes kids really be needing help and just wish somebody would pay attention enough to see, oh, well, we ain't got school supplies. I hate to see a kid without school supplies. How do you expect a kid to learn and they don't have the school supplies that they need? Some kids don't have coats and hats and scarves. Some of them don't have boots. You know, so it's a lot of different situations that be going on that doesn't motivate a kid to want to learn. But I am a person that wants all kids to learn. They could be your kids and his kids and her kids and whoever's kids. But I want all kids to be smart. So if I can share a little something with a kid where it's something simple as a scarf or something, and they feel like, oh, wow, somebody care about me, even though she might not be related to me, but somebody care about me, and, you know, I want to go to school and learn because a stranger did more for me than a relative, you know. So, this is just a worldwide problem. It's not just here in Buffalo, New York. It's all over the world. We have to motivate these kids. We have to be here for these kids. Every kid that be in your presence, whether they're related by blood, a friend, or a neighbor, when they're in your presence, they're your kids. When they're in my presence, they're my kids, including your kids. You know, this is a big issue. We should all want all of our kids to learn. Because like I said, I went to college. There's a lot of kids that done dropped out of school. There's a lot of kids that done dropped out of school and waited too long and too embarrassed to go back to school. It's a lot of kids that done dropped out of school because they was going through trials and tribulations at home, and they laying around having babies on top of babies on top of babies on top of babies on top of babies. And then they don't know how to help their children in school because they didn't have help. And it's really a sad situation. And I wish that we all could get together and just help these children. If that meant I had to go downtown and help picket or be a voice for these kids, I would do it with no problem. We see a lot of different kids come over from different countries, and a lot of people come over from different countries. And they look at us like we the fool, because we not getting this education. And you see all these older people in my age group, people in their 40s, people in their 30s, people in their 20s, young people, and they're going to school, and they're picking up the English language, and they're going to school, and they're doing what they got to do to get these businesses. And that's another issue. If you look, I don't know about in your city, but here in Buffalo, almost every corner there's a Arabian owner store. We don't have nothing. When I was growing up, it was a lot of black businesses. And I can understand why, because, some of them wasn't right. But just because some of them wasn't right, that don't mean all of them wasn't right. But these days and times, prices is high. People don't know how to get together and stick together and support each other. And, I just feel for all these babies out here, all of them. They could be 1 and 2. They could be 9 and 10. They could be 20 and 21. If they don't have the tools that they need to get to where they need to in life, they still babies as far as I'm concerned. And I know we all got to go through trials and tribulations, but if you have a kid in school, please, please think about contacting National School Choice Week and getting your supplies and maybe sending your kids to school with it. Maybe another kid to ask about it or tell your friends about it. Or, we need some help with our kids. Not just National School Week. We need some help with our kids on a daily basis. I don't mean that you're a bad parent or anything. I mean that we need to have multiple resources to help our kids. And if we have multiple resources to help our kids and we do what we need to do, then when our kids and grandkids and nieces and nephews and godchildren and everybody else have kids, they'll know the importance of motivating their kids. Because these young teenagers, most of them are out of control. They want to try to intimidate people, intimidate older people, try to fight older people, or whatever they call themselves doing. But when it comes down to the kids and their lives, it's like they don't have a clue. And, I just really, really feel for these kids. Because it just seemed like when they made the law that you couldn't whip your child, and these people was out here doing drugs and messing with their child's friends, kids started losing respect for their parents, and they just running amok. They run, do all kinds of stuff. But when it comes down to that education, they don't have a clue. And it just seems like a lot of them wind up in detention centers or on the PENS program where you're trying to monitor their behavior. And then sooner or later, they going into county jails and they going into state jails and some of them going into federal jails. And then, You know, that's an open door right there. That's a revolving door. You go in, you go out. 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 And you lose yourself in there because everybody bragging about what they was doing on the streets. Then when they finally get out, they go get them some welfare. Who cares? I don't care about that. But why they going to get the welfare, ain't nobody pushing them to go get that education. Even if it ain't nothing but going into a training program, get you a disability training program. Because anytime you go to jail, you got a disability, according to the law. So utilize that. Go get yourself a skill. Go to a training program. I did. You know, go to a training program. I've been to many a training programs. We got EOC, which is Educational Opportunity Center. That's down on Goodell here in Buffalo, New York. Or go to ECC and try to get your take a general studies curriculum and get your high school diploma and start working towards your college degree, even if it is ECC. Even if they are teaching 2 years behind. Some education is better than no education at all. Get into ECC after you get your high school diploma and start taking some classes. Take some college classes, because today it seems like a college education isn't enough. Because you don't want to be working on McDonald's or Burger King or Subway jobs all your life. You don't want to have to work through these temp services. Baby, I worked through them temp services. I know what it's like. Either you got enough money to pay your rent and pay your bills, or you got enough money to buy insurance because you don't qualify for Medicaid. You know, so I want everybody, in no matter what city, to work hard to educate these kids and help them out. They gave us stickers that say celebrating hashtag school choice. So we got some stickers. We got a little pamphlet, or should I say stock card, to show you more about it. We have a poster that says "Put Kids First, National School Choice Week." We have, to me, I don't know what it is, but it looks like one of them little dry erase boards, that you write on with a magic marker, and then you can write on it and then erase it off. So this is what we're looking at. This is considered as a sign. It says, have your photo taken home the sign in front of you. Share the photo on social media using hashtag school choice. Email your photos to photos@schoolchoiceweek.com or upload them at www.schoolchoiceweek.com. Hashtag share. So these are signs, but I would have thought they was eraser boards. But I would give them to kids, and they can draw on it or write their little notes on it and stuff. That would please me, to see that some child, any child, whoever the child is being helped. I wish there were more people getting involved, and you were getting these scarves for your kids and kids that you see that don't have a scarf. I mean, it's a small thing, but we need to make these schools and these after-school programs and these politicians accountable to make sure that school is a safe environment for these kids, and do whatever they need to do to motivate them to want to go to school and want to learn as much as possible. And if that means going up to the school and getting the directions from the teachers on what these kids are working on, so you as a parent can help these kids, then that's what you need to do. So this is what the scarf is looking like. And it says National School Choice Week at the bottom. And it's just a nice long fleece scarf. A yellow fleece scarf. And yeah. So I'm going to put the linkage down below. So if you all would like to contact these people, you can. And please, please, please remember the importance of picking a good school for your kid. You want your kid to be able to go to school, be at peace without having to fight all the time, be able to get a good breakfast. I believe in, serve the kids, even if it ain't nothing but some cereal and milk. Serve your kids some cereal and milk one day, maybe some instant oatmeal the next day, a bowl of instant oatmeal and some scrambled eggs, toast, and bacon or bacon and sausage or whatever. And then hopefully he could get a breakfast at school, and if he can't, he's full at home. And if you're having problems trying to keep your kid fed, they have the backpack program through the schools where the kids can take food home for the weekend so they can be assured that they can eat during the weekends. And then mom or dad or whoever the kids live with, their parent or guardian can, buy some food and do something for the week. And don't be embarrassed. Go to them food pantries because you can pick up a lot of good food there too. I know, I go. So that's all I have. I hope this video was informative to you, and I hope you learned something. And I'm going to see you next time. I love you all. Please thumbs up this video. Please hit that subscribe button. And we need to gather together all around the world and make sure, whether you have kids in your household or not, make sure these kids are getting the type of education they need. Make sure these kids get the love they need. Make sure these kids get